Oh boy. Oh, brutal. Alright. Hello folks. Today we're going to be doing a little video on this truck. So this is obviously the 8x8 Big Rig mod. And boy is this thing fun. It's always been one of my favorite mods to play around with. I mean, just look at this frame flexing all over the place as we're taking these off-road bumps at speed. This particular version I've designed to be optimal for off-roading and crawling and stuff. Of course there are definitely some bugs, but it is pretty good. So I'm using the original mod engine, or I'm using the mod's original engine, which is this Y10 diesel. Now I don't think there is a such thing as a Y10. There's a V10, and this engine that's in here is, to me, looks like a V10. But I also have a mod that allows you to put slightly more realistic engines in it. Like this is an 18-liter V10, but I'm going with the original because it does have a lot more power and it has the automatic transmission option, which is great for going fast without having to worry about shifting, and it's just a lot more capable when doing crawling and stuff where you don't want to be stalling constantly. Let's try to make it to the top of this hill over here. I don't know if that's even possible. But we're gonna try. I'm sure it is possible. So this engine, as I was saying, isn't particularly realistic. I used the dynamometer tool in this game to kind of gauge how much horsepower it has, and it's a lot. It's like 700 or something. And the more realistic V10 option that came in a different mod meant to be used with this has about 310 horsepower. And for an 18-liter V10, that does not sound like much because that's a huge engine, but diesel engines, naturally aspirated, don't make a ton of horsepower. And this engine is supposed to be naturally aspirated. It doesn't have a turbo or a supercharger or anything, so it's not going to make a ton of power, even with such a large displacement. Look at this thing bouncing. Not exactly a super sophisticated dampening system. In fact, I don't think it has any dampening system. It just has airbag shocks. And this really, really durable, I don't know what to call it, but the suspension system where the axle is the pivot point, which means you get camber adjustment as you go over bumps. So it looks a little odd, but works pretty well. Now, another thing is this engine is simulated to make all its power in the top end of the RPM range. So it doesn't make much power or torque under like 2,000 RPM, and its max is about 3,000. Now, I don't work on diesel engines, I don't know much about them, but usually diesel engines have their power bands in the lower RPM range, and that's where they make their most torque, certainly, and also the majority of their power. But this engine is the opposite. It makes its power in the top of the RPM range, which can make it a little tricky to drive if you're using a manual transmission with it, because you have a kind of a narrow window, and if you let the RPMs get too low, you could stall it out pretty easily. So I don't know if that's realistic for a V10 diesel, naturally aspirated. And sorry if I'm getting a little too technical with some of this stuff. That's just something I am interested in. Oh boy, we almost flipped it. That is something I'm interested in, is engines and kind of the way they perform and from different engines and configurations. Alright, well, I think it's time to lock the diffs, which we have a lot. I mean, look at this. We have rear diff, center, front, front center, front, and rear. And also four-wheel drive and low gear. So we'll also put it in low. Might need to... We'll see how this automatic shifting does. I might need to switch over to... Yeah, so I have it floored right now. It's having trouble picking what gear to put it in, so I'll put it in kind of the manual mode. It wants to climb. It wants to climb. Not quite doing it though. So I guess maybe I'll just try attacking it with speed. Which I don't think will work. We did stall it out. Uh-oh. Well, looks like we messed it up a little bit. So you can still stall it, it's just difficult. Maybe if we go on the rocks. Sometimes rocks have actually more grip than the dirt does on with these tires. It just doesn't want it. Come on, get some grip. You can see all 8 tires are spinning at the same speed, so everything's locked up. It's just an issue of traction. I'm just not quite getting enough traction. Maybe if I can get on this rock or something. You can see this engine's not even overheating and we're just sitting here not moving. Oh, wait, we are moving. This is good, this is good. I've just been flooring it this entire time. And it's an air-cooled engine, so it requires air to even get cooled. Now, it does have a fan, I believe. Of course, I don't know how much of this is simulated, but... Alright. I don't know... Oh, no! That's the one thing with this, is it is top-heavy. So, Do I want to restart from the bottom? No. What if we just respawn right here? Somehow I think we're gonna tip again. No? Yes. Alright, well I need to get myself going kind of more vertical. There we go. No. Alright, well I'll just respawn on it. Alright, well, we'll just pretend that didn't happen. Oh. Okay, so yeah, there is this one issue. This is a bug with the vehicle, I believe, where if you put too much torque, run too much torque through these rear wheels, these rear spindles, they basically blow the tires off, like all 4 rear tires. Doesn't seem to ever happen to the fronts, but then what's going on here? They're like convulsing. I don't know. This thing, it definitely has some bugs. It's really cool, but it's not without bugs, that's for sure. It does it again. Very strange. Maybe if we just go really slow. It seems to only happen when you get bound up and it just puts too much torque through those spindles. The tires just literally pop off. Alright, we got lots of rocks to grip on here. but we might just tip it. Oh, scraping. Okay, okay, there we go. Alright, we're getting there. Ah, blew the tires off again. Maybe that is a realistic thing if you just ran so much torque through a thing. I don't think they'd all pop off cleanly like that, but you could definitely break some stuff. I mean, keep in mind, this truck, I weighed it, and it weighs... I didn't weigh it with these weights on the back, though. I need to do that. But without it, with the bed on the back, this truck weighs about 43,000 pounds. That's heavy, okay? That's really heavy. That's heavier than most other big rigs, and that's without pulling any trailer or anything. That's just the weight. What the heck? Do they expect me to go up that? Well, that could be a challenge. Well, first we gotta try not to flip here. Oh yeah. The chances of not flipping are like 0. And there it is. Alright, well there goes the rear bumper. Who needed that anyways? I don't know. Where can I get grip? Yeah, see the rocks, they grip more. Yeah. Oh goodness, that's violent. I mean, this is really steep. It's hard to appreciate that, but look at how steep that is. Yes? Come on. Oh! Over-torqued those wheels again. I really want to make it up this, but I just don't think it's quite possible. No, 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 no. Okay, okay. Yes, we made it. Alright, well, I cheated with a little bit of nodes, but it wasn't going to make it, I don't think. We might have a similar problem here. Alright, I'm going to try to go around here. Did we just get high centered? I think so. Oh boy. Oh, and both of the fuel tanks popped off. Oops. What the heck? Alright, well what if I skip over the steepest spot? There we go. We made it. I had to help it out quite a bit, but you know what? For being a big rig, that's 40-something thousand pounds, probably a lot more with these weights on the back. That's impressive to be able to climb this sort of stuff. So now I'm going to try pulling what looks like, well, the stereotypical teen's first car, I guess. And we'll see how this goes. Rip off the bumper so we can connect directly to the frame. Alright. Time to see what'll happen to this poor car. Oh boy. Oh. Brutal. Oh no! Our chain ripped off. Hang on. Alright, slow it down. Does this car still drive? Of course it does. Alright. Take it a little bit easier at first. Oh, broke off again. You can see when it's in the really low RPM range it bogs a ton, but as soon as it revs up to like 22, 2500 it really gets in the power band. Alright, well let's just crush this thing. Let's lock the diffs here so we can... Oh! Oh no! Alright, well we over-torqued the system again. Because I guess the car got caught up. But we thoroughly destroyed that thing. So believe it or not, BeamNG does have a dynamometer that comes stock. You don't need to get a mod, or vanilla I should say. You don't need to get a mod or anything. And it's in the apps. You just pop it in. It's definitely annoying to be in your screen, but it's pretty cool to be able to see the power curves of different stuff. So we'll just get up to speed here. We'll pick a gear. I don't know, 8th gear. We'll start our pull at 1000 RPM. All right, and go. About 380, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. Alright, so it goes real fast, but you can see we peaked out at about 1000 horsepower. Yeah. A naturally aspirated V10 is probably not going to have 1000 horsepower. But it certainly makes for a fun time driving it. But you can see it really makes that power in the high end of the RPM range. Alright, so what does this behemoth weigh? Whoops, I'm not fully on. There we go. Okay. 52,400 something, 80, around 52,000. That's really heavy. And of course that's 23,000 kilograms, almost 24. So yeah, super heavy truck, and it's making a lot of horsepower. For reference, a very standard pickup, which happens to be the default, weighs in at 4,600 or 4,600 pounds. So it's literally less than 10, or sorry, the big rig, the 8x8 big rig, is literally over 10 times the weight. This is 4,600. The big rig is 50,000, 52 or something. What was it? Yeah. No wonder it was breaking the tires off, because that's an insane amount of weight. And then of course you're running 1,000-ish horsepower through it as well. It'd be really cool if this truck had some of the more recent BeamNG features, like doors that open, and I guess probably a better interior. It has a very basic interior, but of course the exterior is what is really cool. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have any ideas for other mods for me to test out, or things you'd like to see on this channel, feel free to leave a comment. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.